Hello and welcome to another one of our videos. This is our June 2018 BMW 330d Shadow Edition Touring. This car has the automatic ZF gearbox, the sport automatic transmission with the paddle shift. The car is finished in sunset orange. There are 32,707 miles on the clock for full dealer history, and it's due to go in for another service. It's due its brake fluid change, which is going to be done just after the weekend, along with the oil change, etc. And that will all go into the iDrive and onto the BMW online service history system. So the car has a lovely spec on it. I love the colour. We're going to start down at the front here. We've got the 19-inch 704M alloy wheels in the Orbit Grey and the Diamond Cut. We've got the M Performance brakes, which are a bigger caliper with bigger pads, bigger discs, so stronger braking, so really good brakes. You'll notice there's a parking sensor actually on the side of the front bumper there, right in the middle of the screen. This car has the park assist as well. So the car will self-park for you. We come round to the front. We've got the black gloss grille to match with the wing mirrors. We've got fog lights, front and rear parking sensors, I think I've already mentioned. We've got the radar down at the front here. We've got adaptive cruise control, high beam assist on the headlights. So the headlights will automatically dip. That's using a camera up on the top here. The bodywork is in really nice condition. There's a couple of very minor, tiny little stone chips on the bonnet, which have been touched in. We've not long done them, so they will be highlighted by the fact that they've only just been done. We will go back over them with the polisher to just buff any excess off of them. You can just catch one just there. But there's nothing big or deep or long. Sometimes you get like long scuff marks. These are just honest little chips that you're going to get on any car. The whole car, as I say, has been detailed, machine polished. We use a rotary mop to take out any little fine scratches that people get on their cars using sponges to clean them. And then we have an orbiting mop which spins and sort of oscillates, moves around. So it gives you a really lovely shine, but it takes out any little fine scratches that cause holograms as well. Just showing you the driver's side wheel. So all the wing mirrors are in lovely condition, no damage. As is the roof, no damage up there, no bird dropping stains, no cracked paint, no tree sap has been on there and baked in the sun, which you get on some cars. Very important that in this hot weather, if you get bird droppings on your car, don't just go out to it and try and scrub it off. You will scratch your paintwork. The droppings quite often have all sorts in them, and if you've got that between the cloth and the paintwork, it will scratch. So the best thing to do is to take an old rag, soak it in water, lay it on the top of the bird droppings, and then basically leave it for 10-15 minutes, as long as it takes till it goes soft. And then once it's soft, you can just wipe it away nice and safely without scratching your paintwork. So Scott's top tip of the day there. Keep your car in nice condition. So we've got all the black gloss trim around the windows as well. LED lights at the back. Just come round, give you an overall picture of the car, and then we'll talk a bit more about the spec that's on this car. So one thing I'm going to point out that it's got right now, before I forget, is the adaptive M Sport suspension. So with the Eco Sport button that's next to the gearbox inside, it shows you a picture which highlights the suspension, but you need the adaptive suspension to be on the car for it to actually make any difference to the ride. And as you'll see, if I show you, let's bring this up onto the bonnet. This is the car that we're looking at, and you'll see that I've highlighted all the spec, heated steering wheel, the adaptive M suspension. We've got backup camera, electric tow bar. There's lots on here that's above the standard, additional options, the cruise. So we know that the spec that we've listed on this car is all correct. It's all been done from the chassis number on the BMW system. So, without further ado, as they say. So we've had a good look around the car. You can see how nice and clean it is. We'll go around to the passenger side, just point out all lovely and clean, no scratches, no ding dents on the side of the car, especially around this filler cap. We have the AdBlue, which is purified P basically. And what this does is it separates the NOx, nitrous oxide, which is one of the items that comes out of the rear of the car that is not good for humans. I say that because petrol's worse for the environment. And what it does, it separates it into nitrogen and oxygen, which is what we breathe. So it actually cleans the gases really well and makes them a lot safer. So diesels aren't as bad as what everyone says. It just depends which diesel. So we're taking a look at the door card on the passenger side. We've got the black Dakota leather. You'll notice if we come down, we've got the puddle lights. You'll see how nice and clean this car is, even under these doors, look. All of the seal, no scratches on there. We've got the Harman Kardon speakers, 16 speakers in all, 2 on the door cards, 1 up in front of the iDrive there on the top, and some furthermore speakers in the boot on the roof lining as well. We've got the touchscreen professional navigation, heated steering wheel, heated seats. All of these are extras. Believe it or not, the Shadow Edition doesn't come with Pro Nav, doesn't come with heated seats. You just get the Harman Kardon, the black grills, etc. Take a look at this passenger seat. Got the contrasting stitching. We've also got electric seats. The driver's side is memory, which we'll show you. The little rocker button in black there, that blows up the bolsters this side and here, so it will squeeze you into the seat. We've got sliding armrest, and underneath there's the wireless phone charger, which I'll show you when we come round. Rear door card, no damage on there. Just come down underneath, you can see all again, really nice and clean. All the door shuts, no scratches from seat belts being jammed or anything. All the rubbers are in nice condition. The back of the seats as well, no damage to the netting or anything in there. And no damage on here, on the center console, or the rear of the center console. All the leather is nice condition. Now these folding headrests, these are an extra, so usually it's only the center one that drops down, but all 3 drop down on this model, or on this particular car. And that allows you to have much better vision out the back when there's no one in the back. You've got the armrest in the center, Isofix. Like I say, all the leather's in nice, lovely condition. Okay, let me see if I can grab the key from my pocket. So we can open the boot with the key. We can close the boot on the key as well. Got the rear parking sensors. All of the paintwork is in nice condition, as is all the trim. Now we've got some little round eyelets there, and they are used to locate this partitioning section here, which goes across. So if you've got anything in the boot, you don't want it to slop about, anything heavy, got the locking wheel nut, etc. So that would go across here between the 2 posts. You've got 2 different positions there. So it's the extended storage. And we've got some room underneath here with a little separator in the middle. We've got 12-volt socket, and this little thing here is for putting your carrier bags on. We've got the separation net. which can fix into the back of the seats. When they're dropped down, they fit into those two big square black sections. And then when the seats are dropped flat, you can then lift that netting up and it locates up just in front of the handle there. There's a black section, there's a little cover that pulls off, and the eyelets here will fit in there to stop anything crashing forward on you if you have to brake hard or anything like that. We come into this side box here, so let's try and make sure this is in focus. This is where we press a button and we have electric tow bar, which comes out from underneath. While that's coming out, I'll just show you all up round here just how nice and clean it is. We go up onto the top, a couple of little scuff marks, oops, let's get it in focus, on the plastic here, but other than that, all in lovely condition. And then we've got the tow bar down here, so you can put like bike racks on there as well as, you know, towing. Now if we press the boot button again and hold it, that automatically closes the boot. Some of you are probably already aware that the glass opens up separately. Ideal if you've got maybe a little dog and you want to let it have some air on a hot day. So if we come around, I'm going to leave the tow bar out. You'll see why in just a second. Again, all around the door shuts, seats, show it from this side, and the door card right the way down. See the lighting under there. No scratches around the door handles. You've got LED lights under all the door handles as well. It's under all four. Looks nice at night when it lights the side of your car up. Let's just put these lights off. We have folding electric mirrors. So this additional button here, you can fold the mirrors in with the locking button by pressing and holding it as well. And by, depending which side you've left this switch here for your left and right on your mirrors, when you go into reverse, that will turn on or turn off the auto dipping for the near side mirror when you go into reverse. Some people know about it, and some people wonder if they've got an intermittent fault with it because they're not aware of that switch making a difference. But that's why. Okay, we have the memory seats on the driver's side with the bolster button as well. I'll move around nice and slowly and see all of the seat. I'm going to jump in the car now. I have a car that's got so many little gizmos on it, it's quite hard to know where to start sometimes. So we're going to start with the rear camera. So we've got touch screen on this navigation, on the iDrive, sorry. But what I'm going to put her into reverse. Now, because we've got the park assist, sorry about the noise, you'll notice that the display on the left shows you all around the car. If we go over onto the left here, this is where you can activate the parking assist. You can set it so it's on automatically, so when you are going along the road with your indicator on, it will find a parking space for you. You can turn the rear view camera off if you wish. I'll turn it back on. Now when we come back down to here, that's for the parking guidelines. You can turn those off or on. The obstacle marking as well. But we've also got the tow bar zoom. So you can just make out the tow bar at the bottom of the screen. And if I turn the steering wheel, this is how you can line yourself up onto the tow bar. If you're using the tow bar, you can just line yourself up and know exactly how close you're getting to it. So it's like a top view looking down on the tow bar. So that's a really nice feature. So we're going to come out of there. Just stop that noise, that's great. Right, we'll come back to that in just a second. I'm going to open up the door here, because what you'll notice down here is we have 3 buttons. The centre one is collision assist, so at low speeds it will also brake if you get too close to the car in front. You can have this set at 3 different distances, so like an early, a medium and a late, depending how close you want to get before it warns you. You've got lane change warning and lane departure warning. So if you notice the triangle in the mirror, on the top of the mirror there, that will flash orange if the car's coming up in your blind spot. Now if you look down at this little symbol down in the bottom right here, if you this is lane change assist, so if you cross the white line on the motorway, the steering wheel will just shake a little bit to let you know that you've crossed over the line. We also have the adaptive cruise control with stop and go. So when we activate the cruise control here, let's try and get this in focus, hang on. Using these 2 buttons here, it won't work unless we're actually driving along, but you can sort of use them up and down. There'll be a display in the center at the top, and it will show you how close you want to be to the car in front. So when your cruise control's on, it just keeps you at that safe distance that you set with those 2 buttons, basically. I think that's the easiest way of putting it. You'll notice the symbol at the bottom of the rev counter. That is your speed limit information. Now we have, oh, excuse me, zoom in and try and get some focus. So we also have heads up display, save station dab. So you can just make that out in the grille of the front car. This will give you your radio channels, your online entertainment, your music collection, which is the hard drive. There's about 80 gig on this for any downloaded music. The speed limit information as well on there. So a really nice feature, the heads up display. And we also have digital cockpit. So with digital cockpit, when you're using the Economy, Pro, Sport, basically the driver dynamic button down there. Sometimes I think I make these names up as I go along, but it's the driving modes basically. Oh dear. Right, we're going to Eco Pro. You'll see that the displays change. So in this mode, the suspension, I'll just do that again, will be in comfort, like a comfortable soft mode. So in Eco Pro or in comfort mode, the suspension is relaxed. They have totally different shock absorbers with the Adaptive M suspension, which allows for this. And I think it's either a magnetized fluid or a valve on the shock absorber, which allows the stiffness and the cushioning of the shock absorber to change. When we go into Sport, you'll notice on here, now they all have this display. If I flip down, you'll notice the steering wheel changing colour there and the suspension. Now they all have this button, but it won't change the suspension unless you have the adaptive M Sport suspension shock absorbers, which we know this has because we've spec checked it, etc. Okay, so in the sport mode on the digital cockpit here, you'll notice the speed is on the left, the rev counter and your gear selection, the big P mentioning that we're in park, and just below we're in sport. We can go Sport Plus. That takes off part of the traction control. If you press and hold the traction button, you can turn off the rest of the traction control. So the DSC goes off as well. So as I was saying, lots of really nice features on this car. Some you might use more than others, and some you might think that you won't use, but then once you've got them on the car, you'll think, actually, that's actually quite useful. So as I was mentioning before, the sat-nav display is the touchscreen one, so we can move all this about. If we go into the map, you can use the iDrive wheel. You can split the screen as well, so you can show different items on one side position, onboard computer, media, telephone, etc. You go back to the top, release it from there. If I zoom out, right, if we come down this side, this is all the menus, route guidance, traffic information, additional information, you know, weather, etc. Show you satellite image if you want it on that. If we come down to the views, so we're currently in direction of travel. Now, using these buttons here, you can actually save some of the windows, as well as telephone numbers, radio stations. So if you want to flip between two different map views at the quick press of a button, put it into perspective, hover over number 8, press down, and then if I press number 7 now, it'll go back to the other view. So you can do this, you can save telephone numbers in there and a few different windows as well. Not all of the windows, but most of them. Just show you down here, we've got the sliding armrest. Let's just move my paperwork. And we've got the Bluetooth charger. If you've got an XL phone, you might struggle to fit it into that charger. They sometimes will charge laying on the top, but you've got a USB there, you've got a USB here, you've got a 12 volt in there, and there's another 12 volt just up underneath the glove box there. So plenty of charging points as well for laptops, phones, etc. We've got the heated seats, dual climate control. I'm not too sure if this one has the Apple CarPlay on it, but the fact that it has the enhanced wireless phone system means that if you contact BMW, you can have it put onto the car. I think it's between £250 and £300. There's a license fee that they have to pay, I guess, to Apple. You know, everyone's paying Apple nowadays for something. So we've got all our DAB channels, online entertainment. If you go into there, when your phone's connected, I think you get Spotify and things like that. This is your hard drive for your music, CDs, Bluetooth audio, and you can manage all your sound with the Harman Kardon. And you've got the graphic equalizer. In fact, that's reset all this. And then if we go back up to, come back down, audio feedback, touchscreen, etc. So there's plenty of features in there. Personalize your menu, so you can turn some of those off if you don't use them, so you can get to them quicker. You've got driver profiles on this car as well, so you can set your different driver profiles. Your connective drive is still available on this car, so you've got like weather apps, the news, or weather radar, Flickr. We've got Wi-Fi hotspot on here. In fact, if I go to communication, which one was it in? Memos, online mail. Can't remember where it was a minute ago when I was looking. Okay, so in here, look, you see you've got the telephone, Bluetooth audio, apps, internet hotspot for access to high-speed mobile network connection. So like I said, you know, lots of items on the car. I'll show you the service that's due on the car. So the next service, come over here. Oh, just worth mentioning the AdBlue that I mentioned earlier. This tells us we've got 2,500 miles, 2.5 litres to refill. Allow this to go down sort of quite low. You don't want to empty it by any means, but there's an expiry time to AdBlue. It lasts about a year or so, and then it deteriorates. So you don't want to fill it up too early, because you'll be mixing fresh AdBlue with some of the older AdBlue. And I just recommend that you allow it to go down quite low and then fill it up, and then you know that what you've got in there is nice and fresh. We go into service requirements, so we'll show you what's been done. So it had the PDI check, and then the oil and filter change, which is around about 19,000 miles or 2 years. It was done obviously at 18,000 miles, just over 2 years, but at the mileage. Brake fluid is due now. I think it was due on the 4th, but the car's probably not been used in the last month or so because it's been stored. And then we've got the vehicle inspection. Engine oil we'll be doing as well, because that's down to 3,000 miles. We're going to do that early. And then the brake pads have got plenty of miles, 21,000 on the front, 49,000 on the rear. It's sort of thereabouts of these figures. I mean, we always check them when they go around to be serviced. They're always checked manually so that we can see them. Or Terry, who does all our BMWs, can see them. Right, I think I've covered everything in there that I need to. There's the books in there. In fact, there was one other thing I was going to check to see if it was on the car. If we go back into here, let's go back up here, lighting. I think this has got, if we go to interior lights, we're on sport. You can never see sport during the day. Does this have the classic lighting around? Okay, no, so not on. Oh, we haven't got the lights on actually. It does. There we go. So it has all the lighting around the center console. So it does have the lighting pack. And then if we look under the doors, oh, excuse fingers. There's lighting underneath the door cards. And this is on all of the doors, so it'll light up all the sides. And classic is the orange, and sport is white, which doesn't show up very well during the day, so we won't use that. Okay, well, the last item in there worth looking at was the driver vehicle in action. I think it's in this one. Not that one. Let's try this one. There you go, intelligent safety. Warning point, medium, late. If you look at the picture of the two cars there, you see the front one move, so you can change for front end collision. Speed warning, parking. This is so you can turn the parking on and off. Right, let's go and take a look under the bonnet. Oh, might help if we pull the bonnet. So it's 2 pulls, and that releases the bonnet completely. We'll just lift it up now. So this is the 254/258 brake horsepower, straight 6 twin power turbo diesel engine. Whole engine bay has been cleaned by hand using WD-40. Beautifully clean under here. It's a nice safe product to use in the engine bay. Now with a Celtic remap that we do, this will lift the brake horsepower to 310 brake horsepower, so pretty much on par with the 335 engine, which has 2 turbos, but the remap will actually give you 10 more newton meters of torque than the 335 at standard, so you can get pretty much the same figures, or just over in some cases, the torque from the 330. The only difference being the X drive, but then on the X drive you don't get to have M Sport suspension. It changes to SE because of the configuration of the X drive and the way the car sits, I believe. And we also have on this the M Sport suspension with adaptive M Sport shock absorbers. So thank you very much for watching the video. I may have missed a couple of items, but I think we've covered pretty much all of it. We've been on this car for 29 minutes, so I hope so. I hope this has helped. If you've got any queries, please give me a call, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Take care and have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather. Bye.